Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial of how to draw a repeating pattern on an iPad Pro using the app PROCREATE. This print here is inspired by Taylor Swift's Grammy dress that had all of the pressed flowers on it that I thought was so pretty. I turned it into a piece of art and then I put off for a long time turning it into a repeating pattern because it was pretty challenging with having a bunch of big flowers on it. But I want to take you through that process with me and showing it to you on like a slightly harder piece of artwork than like just the average kind of repeating pattern. So hopefully this will be helpful for you guys, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. For this design, I was starting with a complete edge-to-edge drawing. And so what I did when I started was just kind of see where I was at with the print. I aligned the print 4 times duplicated to look at the seams, and then you can see the finished product here once it is seamless. So that's the goal, obviously. The biggest thing you want to start with is the snapping tool. You have to make sure that snapping is on, and you can see that in the lower left-hand portion of the screen. And then once snapping is on, you can divide the artwork in half. So you can see me doing that here. I duplicated the print, then I divide it in half at the top and the bottom, and the snapping tool shows you when you've completely divided it in half. So what I normally do is I duplicate the piece of art and then I divide it in half, either left to right or top to bottom. And then once you have the artwork kind of like this with that seam right down the middle, then I get to work. So I start by just either taking the sides and combining them, or you can go one at a time and not combine the 2 pieces. It's really up to you. And I start deleting part of the design. So right now I'm deleting this orange flower, and I'm just taking that out of the design because the sunflower on the left is gonna continue over the seam. So really you just wanna draw over that seam, and you can see here that I moved the orange flower over and continued the sunflower over the seam. Now I'm looking at the small little white flowers, and I'm gonna draw those over the seam in the area that I left blank on the left-hand side. So really your whole goal is to divide the piece of art in half and then draw over the seams, because the section of the piece of art that used to be the middle is now on the edge. And so when you put the edges next to each other, those will line up perfectly. So once the seams are continuous, then both sides of the drawing should be continuous when lined up next to each other. Another thing you can see me doing here is just copying and pasting a flower from a different part of the design to place over the seam to fill in a gap. So that's a really easy way to help make the pattern continuous. I like to also rotate the design and maybe add some new aspects to the copied flower so that it doesn't look super repetitive when you're looking at the design as a whole. Then I just line up the top and bottom and again draw over the seams the same way that I did with right and left. So you can see that from right to left the design is completely continuous. I just need to get rid of that seam from top to bottom. And you can see there, now the entire thing is continuous. There are no seams even when you duplicate the design 4 times. And so once you're done getting rid of all the seams like that, then any way that you split the design in half, you should see a continuous pattern. So there's an easy way to create a seamless pattern on PROCREATE. I hope that was helpful for you all. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to explain further if this doesn't make sense for anybody, but I hope this was an easy to follow tutorial.